Okay, so good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us here in the session. It's a privilege to have all of you in this session. My name is Tooba Mirza, and I'm going to be the host of this webinar, and I'm representing my company, Ontime Training and Consultancy Services over here. So I'm going to give you a brief introduction about my company as well as about my services and my own self, and then we will proceed with the agenda of the webinar. So, On-Time Training and Consultancy Services is a professional training and consultancy provider. We are like the company was founded in mid 2022, and we are a professional training provider, as well as we also provide the corporate trainings and corporate solutions and PMO solutions, PMO consultancy, process improvement, project program related standardization, etc. We are mainly the training provider of PMI certifications, including PfMP, pgmp, PMP, RMP, ACP, PPA, like all the certification track of PMI. And so far, we are mainly into the triple P certifications, which means that PfMP, pgmp, and PMPs are core focus. On-Time Training has produced 12 PfMP so far, and today we are here to discuss the success story and journey of one of our PfMP student, Syed Saqib Hussain. So let me briefly introduce myself first, and then we will proceed with the conversation with Saqib Saab. So my name is Tooba, and I'm based in Pakistan. I have a professional career of around 16 to 17 years in the software industry of Pakistan, and I started off as a software engineer, and then I gradually proceeded to the levels in the technical side of the software, and then I gradually shifted to PMP, and then program management, and then the portfolio management. So I did my PMP back in 2017, and I did my PfMP back in 2021, like early 2021, and I did my pgmp in 2022. So I am triple P certified, which means that I'm PMP, PfMP, and pgmp certified, which is a very elite certification track around the globe, and I have that a record as well, that I'm the first female of Pakistan who has these three credentials. Uh, Alongside that, I am also RMP certified, I am PSM certified, as well as I am ATP provider for PMP training. So all of these credentials are there with me. So this is a brief introduction about myself. And as I said, we are here to discuss the success story and journey of one of our PfMP mentees, Syed Saqib Hussain. So let's proceed with that conversation, and let's talk to Saqib Saab about his experience and journey throughout this throughout this journey. So, Saqib Saab, Assalamu alaikum, and how are you doing?
Walaikum assalam. Thank you, Tuba. I am fine and doing good. Hope you are fine too. And hi to everyone.
Yes, so we are very, very much excited, and we are very much elated to have you over here. So, Saqib Saab, would you like to introduce yourself, like a brief about yourself and your professional career?
Yeah, sure. My name is Saqib Hussain, and I am from Lahore, Pakistan. And by profession, I am a mechanical engineer. And I did my engineering in 2005, so about 17 years back. So after that, I did my master in business administration from Bahauddin Zakariya University. And regarding my certifications, before PfMP, I have also done my PMP certification and risk management certification, RMP as well. So regarding my professional career, I have 17 years of experience in oil and gas sector and fertilizer sector. So I'm lucky that all of my experience, you can say 17 years, are in project management, right from my job one. So I have done my job in 4 industries like fertilizer, oil and gas, and automobile sector, and 2 of my jobs are in oil refinery. Currently, I'm working in Parco, which is the leading refinery in Pakistan.
Wonderful. Thank you for a detailed introduction. And of course, you have a very, very good career track, mashallah. And I'm very privileged that I had you as one of my mentees in this journey, in this PfMP journey. So what was the thought process when you thought of doing PfMP? Like, what was there in your mind that how could you get the benefit out of that in your professional career?
Yeah, the project management is very specialized field,
Hmm.
and my association with project management is very deep. You can say after my passing the engineering, I did my postgraduate diploma in project management from Project Management Institute from the Lahore. So it's about, you can say, 17 years back. So in 2010, I did my MBA. So this was just to enhance my business and you can say management skill. And in 2012, I did my PMP, and then there was a long gap. You can say about 10-year gap. And in 2022, I did my RMP. So after doing RMP and PMP, I was just confused that how should I proceed further? Should I go for some other PMI certification or Prince 2? So then I talked with Ms. Tuba, and there was a detailed discussion. And after reviewing my, you can say, the profile, we she proposed me that according to your experience and your all background, the most suitable certification is the PfMP, which is the most elite and the highest certification in the project management. So that's why I decided that I should go for the highest certification. I have already done with PMP, MBA, RMP. Why not for the PfMP as well? So this was the, you can say, the turning point.
Yeah, so you already was done with PMP as you mentioned earlier, and then you did your RMP with PMI. And usually people try to go like on the usual track, which is PMP, then pgmp, and then a portfolio management a certification. So you didn't go that way. You did your PMP, and then you did your RMP, and then you like you skipped the pgmp, and then you go for PfMP. So what really made you feel that? Because I already knew, based on the discussion, the initial few discussions we had, that you actually were doing, you were actually working in the head of the department capacity, and all of the things that you mentioned to me that belong to the portfolio management role. So at times, people just had this. Thought in mind that we should be going like that proper pathway. So what was your thought process like? Were you convinced that you should be going for pgmp, or like it was the thought process that no, pgmp is not for me?
Yeah, let me recall our discussion. You said that one should think 5 year ahead, and
Yes.
if you are SP, then you should think for the project management PMP. And if you are a PMP already doing some project management related job, then you should look forward and you should just keep an eye on the next position. So if you are working as a project manager, then you should look for the program management. So always look forward, look ahead. So if you are already doing a project management role, PMP role, PfMP role, and your program management role, then why to look backward? Just move forward. And I think I have already, you can say, doing the portfolio management role, and I have a 17 year of experience. So the most suitable certification for me was the PfMP, which is the most elite and highest certification. So this was the, you can say, very convincing talk with you, and this was my point of view.
Yes, so this is actually a very interesting conversation, like with not only with Saki, because this is like very usual question that comes to me is like what I should be doing. So this is my usual response to almost everyone who asks me this question, that if you are already doing some role, like you maybe if you have been working for the 4 to 5 years in project management role, maybe then this is something that probably you have already experienced a lot, you have already practiced a lot. And if you have that thought process that you want to go with one certification as your next career goal, then most likely go for something which is going to be your next career step, rather Of course, that thought process is also valid, that somebody wants to improve themselves in the same career role that they are at. Maybe you can go for that as well, and then you can move to the next goal. That is actually like even better. But not everyone has that flexibility as well as financial availability to go for all certification. So in that case, I usually suggest people, those who come to me, that like we want to go with like one best certification that is most suited for us. So in that case, like suggest them to go for the next career level. Rather, you do something which you are already doing. You prepare yourself for something which is going to be helpful in the next 5 to 6 years ahead. So this is my
Yeah,
usual
exactly.
thought process. Yes.
Yeah, let me add that you should have some career goals like 5 year, 10-year goals. And if you are targeting for the portfolio management role, then definitely you should look forward. And most suitable certification for the 15 years and more than this experience is portfolio management. So after doing the PMP, I was very familiar with the methodology of project management. And let me tell you that why I did RMP after the PMP. Mostly, this is not the route. Mostly people do PMP and then pgmp and then PfMP. Actually, I'm working in the refinery sector, and there is very much focus in on the safety environment, HSE. And also, the company is very much focused on the risk management as well. So there was a new division established named as the risk management division. So it was very much, you can say, according to the nature of my job. And what I am doing right now is the role of the portfolio management. So this was a very in match with my all, you can say, career goals and my the current job profile.
Yes, and for the audience, if you have any questions or queries or comments, please drop that in the chat box. And by the end of the session, in the last 10 to 15 minutes, we are going to discuss that with Saqib, right? Proceeding with the conversation, Saqib, how long did you take to get ready for PFMP? Because I have many students who who actually stretch that preparation as well, because they think that PFMP is going to be very difficult. This is the thought that they have in their mind, and I have those students as well who got done with that in 1 to 2 months as well. Like they just dedicatedly prepare for that, and they got done with that in just few weeks time as well. So what is your experience? Because this is like very useful for some of the audience, and there are 3 to 4 people in the audience who are actively preparing for their PFMP, so probably they are going to get benefited with this conversation.
Yeah, so if you will say that PFMP is difficult or easy, then it is a very subjective thing. It depends on your personal experience. So if you have a project management experience and you are doing the relevant job, then definitely you are very much familiar with the project management, its language and its methodology. And you, especially if you have done some certifications from the PMI, then you are familiar with all the exams and the tools and techniques and how it works. So this is very subjective thing. So for my case, actually, I was familiar with all PMI exam like PMP and RMP, and you can say I have done also my MBA. So I was little familiar with the communication management, and due to the risk management, I was also very familiar with the risk management domain as well. So it depends on your nature of job, your overall experience. You cannot jump into the project management world without having experience of the project management. So the background is very much, you can say, linked with the certification. So if you are doing the project management job, then definitely it would be more easy for you. Or otherwise, you can say the questions and the things in the exam are not very much bookish. They are scenario based and very much linked with your overall experience and how you are thinking, how you can perceive things from different situation. So if you are doing a job of project management, then it could be very easy for you.
Yeah, so how much time did you actually spend for the preparation, like actively, maybe a few weeks or few months? What was your preparation style? Because that can be helpful for the other members as well.
Yeah, so you can say there was some gap in my preparation. It was not continuous. So I started with your provided material, and I gone through all that slides and videos. But after that, there was some personal issue, so there was a gap of 1.5 months. But if you would say how much time you should devote your actively give for the PMP for the, you can say, the for successful preparation, I would say about uh, 1.5 or 2 months.
Okay. And how many hours usually did you put, like in a week or so? Like, were you continuously preparing in that time, or it was only the weekends that you were dedicating? How was that?
Yeah, on daily basis, because you are also doing the job and also managing your other personal matters. So it would be very hard to give more time in the weekdays. So if I'll talk about myself, it was 1 or 1.5 hour on daily basis. But on the weekend, I was giving about 3 to 4 hours.
3 to 4 hours on the weekend, and a few like more hours during the weekdays, and
Yeah, one
that was
2 hour
it.
you can say on that. Yeah, because there.
I can recall that, like, for the last 2 weeks you were very, very active for your preparation.
Yeah,
Like, you were spending
yeah,
around.
yeah. I can. Yeah, but I can recall when I finished my preparation and I thought that I can now appear in exam, and I just text you that I have done with my preparation, and in the next 10 days I'm going to appear. Till that time, I had attempt the mock test. So you said if you are really going to attempt and you have just fixed the slot, then I will advise you that not to go for this exam and just take more time, because the mock test will take some time. There are 1,500 questions. Then I realized that yeah, something is missing. If I have done the I have gone through the slides and all the material, but the exam questions are very much important. I should go through. So then I just, you can say, uh, uh, started giving more time to the questions, and about, you can say, on daily basis about 100 question I attempted, and then I just
Yeah,
made
because
some more.
just to summarize it, actually, Saqib messaged me. It was, I think, the 12th of January. He messaged me that I'm done with all the recorded sessions and everything that you have provided to me. And from the content side, I'm ready. But by that time, he didn't even start like a single mock, and he was like convinced that he should be sitting in the exam on 28th of Jan. So he has already decided the date. So I got a little worried, because I usually advise to at least do 3 to 4 mocks that I had. I actually suggest 7 to 8 mandatory mocks. So I recommend to book the exam, or schedule the exam only after you are done with at least few of the mocks, and based on the scores you would have that confidence, and I would have that confidence as well, that is it the right time to book the exam or not. But he actually wanted to book the exam by that time, and he then wanted to go with the mock. So that's why I mentioned that, in my opinion, 2 weeks is going to be a little optimistic time for doing all the mocks, unless and until you day on the daily basis you spend 3 to 4 hours for the mocks. And I provided him a schedule as well, that if you go this way, then by 28 you would be ready, and he actually followed that. So you can do it. At times people take a lot of time on the mocks, like literally lot of time. But of course, everyone has their own comfort and convenient level. We cannot match one student to the other. But the point is, if you want to do that, and if you are committed and you are convinced that you want to do that, then you can do that as well. Even if you have like very um, committed job, and you have family, and all the things are going in parallel, you can do that in even in that case as well. Right. So the bottom line is the 1.5 to 2 months is more than enough for all the videos and mocks and preparation, and including the application. But in case of Saqib, the application was done like pretty earlier. So we are going to talk about that as well. But before that, Saqib, how was your overall exam experience? Like when you went into the exam room, how did you find the exam? Like how did you manage the time? How did you manage the pressure? How did you like come across those questions that you thought like those were like something very new to you? So like we are not here discussing this like in the like in the perspective of sharing any exam questions, like the overall exam experience.
Yeah, let me tell you that to sit in the exam and for the 4 hours, it's not easy thing. There is an anxiety, and you have to face it. And before that, 1 day before the exam, I text you as well that if you want to give any advice, and so you did. I will appreciate that. It was a very nice conversation, and it helped a lot. And about my, you can say the experience about the exam, I will say that it is all about the time management. And you have to manage 170 questions in 4 hours. And if I can recall, you said that try to do 50 questions in 1 hour. But in my case, in first 1 hour, I couldn't meet that target. So in first hour, I think I did about 35 questions. So the questions were lengthy. There were some numerical based questions. So there was some pressure that you have to manage the time. So, but when there was a momentum of the exam, I cop up with the things in the next 1 hour. And you can say the positive thing was that I did not mark many questions for the review. So in the end, there was only, I can say, 4 questions that I marked for the review. But I could not spare more than 10 minutes for the review because I hardly finished the exam. It was scenario-based, lengthy, and numerical-based, 5, 6 questions.
How
Even I
how
can say one
was your
question.
yeah, how was your calculation based questions? Because that is like another very important questions that we came across from the PfMP aspirants, that what is the kind of calculation and CPI SPI related question that we are going to get in the exam. So what was your
Hmm.
experience?
Yeah, there was not many questions related to the you can calculations about if I can recall, 5 to 6 questions were based on the calculation. So because of my engineering background, so my calculation questions are, I was sure that I can do it very well, and there will be no issue in the calculation based question. But I will say out of 6 questions, I did 5, but one question was very lengthy. I have to scroll it down, and it was calculation based. So I marked it for review. So in the end, you can say I could not find time to solve that one question. So I missed one question, but 169 question I attempted. So, but you can say that were not very difficult. And if you have done the mock test and you have provided that material as well, so it would not that difficult to attempt.
Yeah, so for the audience, actually, Saqib is one of those students who actually did PFMP in a very, very good way. So his overall level, because there is no scoring in PMI exams, but his overall level is above target, and that's a very good above target. Like it's not just on the starting edge, it's actually like in the middle of above target, which is a big deal. So he did that in a very good manner, and congratulations, Saqib, for that, because not everyone achieves that. For those who are preparing for the exam, let me for those as well who are aiming for the exam, that uh, PFMP is an objective style MCQ based question. You will get 170 questions in 4 hours, totally scenario based. Will put you in difficult situations via those scenarios, but those are like not really difficult. They are tricky. Like PMI exams, I would say they are very interesting. They are not difficult, not rather easy. They are very interesting and very tricky and very, uh, you know, working very situational. So they will put you as a portfolio manager in those situations, and then based on the best practices and standardization, they would ask you that what you are going to do in this situation if you are leading a portfolio, or if you are working as a director or the head of the department. So this is what the exam expects. And when you are sitting in the exam, and when those 4 hours are being monitored, you are supposed to be managing your time, managing your nerves, controlling that pressure that you are going to experience only in the exam room. All of that is tested. It's not only your conceptual knowledge which is being tested. Okay, so moving forward, Saqib, you actually did this PfMP with me, and Saqib is one of those students who really did not join any of my live sessions, live PfMP training sessions. He actually opted for the self-paced study package, in which I provide the recorded sessions and the complete application support and all the material, question answer banks, slide decks, etc. But he didn't come to my live classes because probably of the time issue, or maybe like he was comfortable that he would be able to do that by himself. So Saqib, how did you provide my mentoring, and how did you think that the material and the question answer banks and the slide decks and everything that I provided you for your preparation, did that help, or did you go for anything else? And how was your application process? Because those who are into PfMP already, they must be aware that PfMP application is a big deal. It's a very comprehensive process, and it takes like a lot of time for the articulation as well as for the approval as well from the PMI side. It can take, usually my written applications, you do not take that much time, but it can take. So what was your experience regarding our on-time trainings, mentoring, and preparatory material and application services?
Yeah. So let me compare PfMP with my PMP preparation at RMP. For PMP and RMP, I only you can say opt for the standard and some other you can sporting books. But PfMP journey is different. So you can say your provided material was very comprehensive, and the slides, it was a really very hard work. I must appreciate that. The things are very you can say in a very refined way, and the concept for the concept building, the material was too good. And also if you are not, you can say uh, you are not very easy for the reading of the standard, then you can say your provided material was the best for you can say for the short time you can get the real concept. So if I will rate your material, it will I will give 10 by 10. So it was very helpful. So even you don't need to go through the standard, but you know that in 1 or 2 days before, I told you that I just want to go through the standard as well. That is there anything missing in my preparation? But literally, there everything was covered in your provided material. So overall, you can say the provided material quality was very good. And regarding the application process, uh, I must say that it is not like the other certifications. The application is different for the PfMP. There is a panel review in other certification. There is not so, and they take too much time to review your application. There is two-step evaluation. For the first step, I can recall about they took 10 days to review my application. And after that, there is a panel review, and it took about 5 days. So due to the quality of the application and your guidance, so it was a very good submission for the application.
Okay, so 5 days for panel is actually a big deal, because like on average, PMI takes, and in some cases PMI take like the complete 2 months time as well. I know many people, not my students really, but from my professional circle, whose application got into panel, and that took like more than 1.5 months or at times 2 months as well. So if you are getting panel approval in like just few days time, and in some cases my written applications get approval in few hours time as well. So that is like a proof that we actually provide a very quality service in this regard. So thank you very much, Saqib, for this. And for those who are new to portfolio management or PfMP certification, I can guide you a bit about what PMI offers in this certification. So PfMP certification or the portfolio management concept is when you are managing multiple projects, programs, and operational stuff under one umbrella with some of the strategic goals that are um, guided towards the organizational goals and organizational achievement for a span of time, maybe for an year, for 2 years, for 5 years. So this is the concept of portfolio, and portfolio is more at a strategic and at the alignment level, and project and program management is more at the doing and the executional level, or at the tactical level. So project and program is more the doing thing, and portfolio is more of the selection thing, that what work you should be doing in your portfolios or in your organization to make sure that organizational targets are being achieved. So PMI says that portfolio management is about doing the right work, and project and program management is doing the work right. So this is like their way of distinguishing these concepts. And the curriculum that PMI covers, so every PMI certification follows an ECO, exam content outline, and the curriculum that PfMP certification covers is divided into 5 domains: strategic, governance, performance, and communication and risk management. So PMI says that if you are working as a portfolio management, or if you are leading multiple portfolios in the organization, and if you are doing your job, then a respective task that you are doing is any of these 5 domains. It's either at the strategic end, or at the governance end, or at the performance and value delivery end, or maybe you are communicating with the variety of stakeholders, or you are managing certain portfolio or some of those risks which are escalated from the project or program or operational management. So this is what PMI thinks of the portfolio management. And if you think that this is something that you do as well, or maybe some part of that is overlapping with what the PMI suggests in the portfolio management, then it will be PfMP is a standard that you should be going through as well for the knowledge, like updating your knowledge, and getting to know that what is the best global practices for this area, and what other industries and other regions are doing in the same domain. So basically, when we go for any credential, we are learning the best global practices, and we are aiming to bridge our knowledge gaps. So this is why we should be doing any credentials. Rather, you do that only to add a badge in front of your name. Of course, that is also a big value addition in your portfolio, but this should not be the reason why you should be going for these credentials. The reason should be mainly to upgrade yourself, to upskill yourself, and to help yourself as well as your organization and your team and your peer level in whatever you do, whatever you contribute and offer to the organization. So hope it helps. And yes, one more thing, if you are already PfMP certified and you are attending this webinar, then this webinar is going to give you 1 PDU towards your CCR cycle, which is the renewal cycle that starts with your PfMP credential, and that requires an updation after every 3 years. So moving forward, Saqib, with the conversation, a very, very interesting question that I'm going to ask is, and that's a very usual question as well from many PfMP and portfolio management aspirants, that why we should be going for PfMP? Like, why PfMP? Is our experience not good enough to help us moving forward in our career? And how we are going to get the return, and what is going to be the ROI, and how we are going to get the payback on this investment. So when you were investing in this certification, what was there in your mind that how you are going to get the benefit or return out of that? Or what is your definition of return? I would rather ask.
I would say project management is a very specialized field, and it has its own language. So if you are not PMP, PGMP, or PfMP, then definitely you are not familiar with the project management language and its methodology. You can do the projects, but that would not in a right way. So if you are doing a portfolio management role, then you should have some, you can say, a global certification that you are familiar with all the tools and techniques and practices that are being used for this position. So I think that is very much important that you should have a right qualification for the right job. So if you are project manager and you are not familiar with the tools and techniques that how in the world globally that manage the projects are being managed, then I think you are not doing the right job. So for the you can say PMI certifications are not for any region; they are global certifications, and you will get the respect from the your you can say colleagues from your organization that you are the matter expert in this thing. They will come to you for any difficulty. You will gain respect, and your credibility will also be improved, and you also start enjoying your work. So because you know all the tools and techniques and things, how things move in the project management, what difficulties you can face, how to tackle the risk, what is the best way for the communication, what are the smart, you can say, performance KPIs. And so all these things are very important. So you should familiar with, you can say, this project management language and the methodology.
Okay, and you never thought of like getting any monetary benefit out of that? Because this is like the usual thought process that if we are going to do these credentials, maybe we are going to get like maybe a promotion in the existing organization, or maybe we are going to get a better role in the, or maybe we are going to get highlighted with these credentials in the market. So, did you not have that uh, perception in your mind, or it was purely for your own betterment as a professional?
Yeah, as there is a proverb, the best investment is to invest in yourself. So first thing is that you uplift your, you can say, knowledge. You should try to get the right knowledge for the job you are doing. So this was actually my drive and my motive. So if you will talk about the monetary benefits, that definitely will come. And if I will recall about my PMP, when I was going to switch my job, so there was a filter process. The candidates, those have done the certification, and those have not done. So there is, you can say, for the PMP, there is on job there is a written that PMP is required and the certified person will be preferred. So same is the case with the other certification. But for the PfMP, there are very few people in the world. You can say globally there are only 1,300. You can say people who have done this credential. So people are not very much familiar. But uh, the things, the monetary benefits definitely are associated with the certification. And if you will get the respect, this is also one benefit of the certification. You will people will consider you a subject matter expert. This is also one benefit. So, but as you said, okay, monetary benefits will follow the this other benefits as well. So definitely there are many benefits for the certification,
Yeah,
and
and
is one of them.
yeah, thank you so much, Saqib, for this very reasonable answer, I would say, because this is my thought process as well. I never do any certification or any credential just for the sake of maybe earning or monetary benefit, or maybe a promotion or a raise or so. In fact, I never did any certification for that. I always do these credentials to upgrade myself, to get to know that what is currently going on in this area, which is of my interest, and I want to like move forward in that, and I want to like be market competitive. Like that is always the thought process, that with these credentials I want to be market competitive. That I actually always wanted to know the like most recent thing which is going on in the project and program and portfolio and risk and scheduling professional or maybe business analyst, like whatever the fields are. But whenever I did any certification, the only reason is to upgrade myself and to keep myself most current as per the industry. So when you do this, automatically certain things start happening to you. People start giving you respect. People start giving weightage to your
Opinion.
suggestions and your whatever comments you are making in any meeting or in a group of people. Your profile gets highlighted in the market, and people automatically start noticing you. This happens to me, like a lot of this happens to me, and that doesn't happen overnight. This everyone has to understand that this is a journey, this is a process. It takes its due time. At times that all of this comes early to you, or at times it takes its own time. But this is going to happen, this I can guarantee. This is going to happen to you, maybe in few weeks or in few months or in few years as well. But this is going to happen, and a lot of this is also dependent on how well you think that you are ready to apply these learnings in your organization or in your career. This is also important. It's not only about doing the credentials, it's even way more about implementing it in the right way. So I agree, not everyone gets every chance to apply everything that you are going to study in the standard, but whatever you can apply, whatever you can do, you should be doing that. You should start volunteering, you should start improving yourself, your team, in whatever authority you are working. Just start doing that. This is very, very important. After doing the certification, the right application is very, very important. So if you ask me, I did PfMP because I wanted to come up with my own venture, my business, like which I'm running right now. And most of the PfMP related you know the learnings and the concept that I found over there, I'm applying in my business. So it helps. It definitely helps. Okay, so moving forward, uh, so most of the conversation we already had, Saqib, and this is like a very, very good conversation. So in the very last, what is the final advice would you want to give to the PfMP aspirants and those people who are maybe thinking about portfolio management or this standardization as their next career goal? What is your advice to them? Like what they should be doing, how they should be starting?
Okay, so actually PFMP is not a small thing. The PMI is a big organization and they are going to certify you that you are a right person to managing the multiple projects and the multiple programs and even the operational factor as well. Uh, if I'll talk about the you can say the exam perspective, uh, the most important thing in exam is the time management and also the tools and techniques. So there, if you are really familiar with the exam methodology, there are inputs, outputs, and tool and techniques. So I will say about 80% of your exam is about tools and techniques. And one thing which is most important is the integration of all the processes. So, like I will say, if I'm reading the strategic management, and in the end I attempted the question for the strategic management, then maybe I will attempt all the question and all will be right. But if I have closed the book and the questions are from all five processes, then it will be very difficult to just place yourself that you in which process you are now right now. So integration is very important, that you should realize that this question is related to the governance, this is related to the strategic communication. So to combine all the knowledge and to integrate all the processes is very important. I think this is the one thing you should focus: integration of all the processes and the tools and techniques. About there are 23 to 25 techniques, and some are being repeated in all knowledge areas and processes. So you should know that where this they have the different application in different domains. So one must you can say, focus on the tools and techniques to pass this exam.
Thank you very much, Saqib. I totally agree. And for those who are new to this thing, let me tell you that portfolio management is process-based discussion. So there are multiple processes in these 5 domains, and all of these processes are interlinked and interrelated to each other. So, like Saqib has suggested, this is like actually very practical advice, because reading or learning something in an isolated manner, like as a process, is one thing, but when application comes in the real world, it's all integrated. So maybe there are multiple processes of strategic management which are integrated to the governance management, and communication, performance, and risk management usually doesn't work in isolation. So they are usually connected with the strategic and governance. So how these processes in these domains are connected to each other, with what tools and techniques, and when is the right time to understand the integration. And this is what is demanded in the exam the most. So that is not going to call out while you are preparing for it, but this understanding is implicit. This is required while you are preparing, and this is also required while you are implementing that in the real world, that how communication and the stakeholders are going to impact the performance areas, the governance areas, the strategic area, and how the risk management is going to be dealt in the strategic area or in the performance area, or there are going to be risk at the portfolio level, and there are going to be some risk at the portfolio level which are coming to you from the bottom level, like project, program, and operations. So how you are going to deal with that? What is the concept of equity? When is the right time to apply equity? When is the right time to apply contingency? When is the right time to apply management reserves? All of this you need to understand in a very careful manner, and this is what the exam demands. Like when you are writing the exam, this is what PMI expects you to come with. And of course, in our training program, we help our students with everything, with the right material, with the right knowledge, with the right concepts. We try to do as much as possible to contribute in their success. So thank you very much, Saqib, for your precious time, and for sharing the useful insights. We actually have got some questions, so let's move with the question answer discussion. Okay, so Abid Saab is asking that, Saqib, what value this PFMP has added to your work, in addition to just adding this credential, like in your portfolio. I think Saqib has already talked about that, but Saqib, if you just briefly want to cover that again.
Yeah, so I will say that this is not just a credential. Actually, the PMI is going to certify you that you are capable to handle the programs and portfolio. So they have tested your knowledge. So you can take the right decision in some difficult situation. So they are going to certify you. So if you are going to tell somebody and he is familiar with the PMI, so he can say that you can judge things in a better way. You know the methodology. You can opt a tool and technique according to the situation. So this certification is not from a small organization. It is from the PMI. So you will get the confidence of your management, your organization, and this certification is going to certify you that they can trust you, and definitely you will get more respect, and people will consider your opinion in the project management area.
Yeah, and I want to add one thing over here regarding this question. So there are two type of like, broadly there are two categories of people who go for any certification. One category is who are already working in that role one way or the other, like Saqib Saab was doing, and in fact Abid Saab is also working in the same role, because he is also one of our PFMP mentees. And there are the second category is who are probably working currently in a senior project manager role, or a program manager role, maybe in an operational manager role, but they are aspiring for like a career in portfolio management. Maybe they want to like get promoted in the director level, or in the head of the department level, or that is the next career level for them. So they want to get ready for that, and these credentials actually help them with that level. So if you are already working in that role, and you just want to improve your knowledge base, like are you doing the things in the right way, are you taking the right steps, are the processes and the plans that you create, the artifacts that you create in alignment with the standard. So this is one way to help yourself and your organization and team with this certification. And if you are currently not working in this role, but you are aspiring for that, that this is even better, because you are getting yourself ready for something which is going to be maybe 1 year or 2 year ahead for you, but you are learning it ahead of time, you are getting yourself prepared ahead of time. So let me tell you that when I did my PfMP, I was not working in the portfolio management role, I was working in the program management role at that time. But I was actually in anticipation of getting myself ready uh, for something that was not there with me, but I just wanted to get prepared for that. So I had certain portfolio managers in my mind while I was uh, like getting myself prepared. And I actually I always imagined and visualized them when I was preparing for that, that okay, that is the person I observe, he is working as the portfolio manager, and I always kept him in those scenarios, that if this is the situation, because he used to be my boss, or like someone I used to report to in that organization I was working at that time. So I always put him in that situation, because I was not working in the portfolio manager capacity at that time, but I wanted to be in that position. And to just get myself ready, I applied a use case that was like the person I reported to in that organization. And I just put him in that situation, that if something like this happens to my boss, what does he do in this situation, and is he doing the right thing or the wrong thing? Of course I never try to correct him, but I tried to improve my own learning and my own concepts with that use case, because I didn't have my own use case at that time to get ready for the PfMP role. So if you are not working in that capacity, but if you are aspiring for that, even in that case you can prepare yourself for that certification, right? So hope that answers your question. And I have a few questions from Mohammed Ali. So he is asking that how to remain focused during the preparation, and how much time you took to complete the certification start to end. Maybe he wanted to know, like, when did you really sign up, and when did you get certified? So maybe Saqib is more suitable for this answer, because Saqib, you joined me early, but you actively started preparing for the exam, I think in December or something.
Yeah. So I did my RMP in August, so you can say in the first week of September, and then I started working on the PfMP and its application under your guidance. So after that, there was a gap. So due to I told you that there are some personal reasons, so I cannot continue right after the application. So there was a gap, but you can say actively I started preparing for PfMP in December. So the
Yes.
2 month time is of the application.
Saqib actually signed up somewhere in like late September or early October, and he actually wanted to get done with his application in the meantime, like in somewhere in October, November. I think by end of October his application was also done, and then he was not actively preparing in November, and I think till mid December as well, and then he started preparing, because he already told me that he would not be available in that time, and he would be doing somewhere in late December on early January. So he wrote the exam by the end of January, and I know, because I usually get in touch with all of my students when they are actively preparing for any exam. So I usually, on a day-to-day basis, I connect with them, and I just make sure that they are on track, and they are like enough motivated, as well as they are doing their they are following the step-by-step plan that I usually provide to my students. So yes, I was in connect with Saqib for the whole month of January. So he was actively preparing in that time. So he actually did that in like around a month, or like one to 1.5 months. Actively he prepared for that much time, and I don't think that you took any time off from the work for that paper, or did you?
Yeah, no. There was no leave, and you can say, uh, it was all in the weekdays and some, as I told you,
Hmm.
3 to 4 hours on the weekends. But it is very subjective thing. So everyone cannot aim for the 1 month or 2 month. So it depends on your overall knowledge about the project management and your working experience and how much you are familiar with the project management overall. So it is a subjective thing. But for my case, it was about 2 months.
Yes, because like I said, Saqib is already working in the group engineering head capacity. That's for a long time, so that is definitely a portfolio manager role, and he's working in a like big organization. PACO is a pretty big organization of Pakistan, so he had that relevant experience as well. So maybe the concepts was pretty relatable for him when he was doing that. And there is one more question by Ali. He also wanted to know, because he is actively preparing for his exam, so he has given us like a lot of questions. So he also wanted to know that how did you like maintain the focus during the preparation, because this is like a very usual challenge by most of the students. They get off track very easily, very easily. So because portfolio management is a little dry, I agree. So how did you manage to keep on track, and like how did you keep yourself focused?
Yeah, I would say that mark some target date that I'm going to appear on this date. So for my case, I have some plan to appear in the January 2020. And when I told to Ms. Toba that I'm going to appear in the exam on this day, then she advised me that the book the date for your exam. So she was very right in you can say in that advice, because there are some few slots available in some cities, and if you are fully prepared and you could not get the slot for the exam, then you will lose the focus. So you should book your exam pre-time. You should have some target date that I'm going to appear about 2 months before. You should target your exam date. So after that, divide your you can say whole five knowledge areas that I can prepare governance management in 5 days, and communication and risk management is a little bit, you can smaller domains, and you can devote some less time for those. But governance management is, I would say, the most lengthiest domain. So you should give some more time to this domain as well, and strategic management. So I think you should uh, fix some target date, and then you should make some schedule. And I think that would be thing that you can remain focused for your exam.
Yes, I agree. When you book the exam, then more than half of the motivation and focus automatically comes. I do that as well for my own exams. Uh, you should not be booking like very early, but when you think that's the right time, you should book it. And that date automatically starts pushing you like with the right pressure that now is the time to focus and now is the time to get done with it. So yeah, everyone has their own way of getting motivated and getting focused, but I think like when you book the exam, then you actually get the right
Uh,
mindset and the
then
right motivation for preparing for the exam in the right manner, I would say.
Yeah, then pressure will be shifted toward you. And if you have you have booked the date, then the calendar dates are just, you can say, counting in the reverse. So that would be a pressure on you, and then it will keep you motivated.
Yes, yes, yes. And there's a very naive question from Muhammad Ali, that how to overcome the anxiety, fear, and uncertainty in the exam. Yeah, exam fever and fear and anxiety is a very common thing, and everyone has their own answer for that question. But everyone, you know, everyone goes through this. That I agree. Like it doesn't matter how experienced you are or how pro you are in all this, but everyone goes through this. So, Sakib, what was your experience in that regard? Did you face any fear or anxiety during the exam?
Yeah, definitely. Anxiety is, you can say, must in the exam. You have some heartbeat starting on the high beat if you when you are sitting in the exam. But I must say that if you have the right concept, and if you are doing the when you are attempting the question, you will come to know that I am doing it right. So if you will do right question for in a row, that 10 or 15, then you will start overcoming your anxiety that, yeah, I am in on the right track. But if the concept are not good and you are not performing well in the exam, definitely anxiety will started mounting with every passing question. So if you have right concept and you are moving on a right pace, and with the you can say specified time, and with a specified time allocated for that questions. So after doing the questions in a row on a right side, or you can say after attempting the right question, you will start overcoming your anxiety. So
Hmm.
yeah, in the first hour, the anxiety level is different. In the second hour, if you when you are familiar with all you can say the setup, and you are okay with the exam, you are on the right track, and you have managed the time, so you will start overcoming the
I
anxiety.
agree actually, because the initial first hour is very, very important, and because your energy level is good, you come fresh like in the exam, and you feel like usually I suggest to my students to try to do as many questions as possible in the first hour, because as you move forward in the exam, you start getting, um, frustrated and a little irritated as well. And by the third and finally in the fourth hour, you are like all exhausted and you just want to get done with the exam as soon as possible, because sitting continuously for 4 hours is like a big deal, and not everyone is up for that. So that's why the initial first hour is very, very important for the exam, and that can make or break the situation, I would say. So just try to be as much confident and as much composed and relaxed in that 1 hour as possible. And of course, we give some more tips as well before your exam. So, Mohammad Ali, I'm also going to give to you, so you don't worry about that. So, actually, his exam is very near, so that's why probably he's asking. Then, Abed and Gulzara, congratulating you and myself for this big achievement. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Then
very much.
I think we have one question which is like a very valid one. So this is another question by Muhammad Ali. He's asking that he somewhere read that the PMI exams are AI based and the level of difficulty varies throughout the test. Moreover, there is no fixed number of correct answers to pass the test. So how many out of 170 questions should be correct to pass the exam? No, Muhammad Ali, I would disagree with this. This is not the case. I myself have heard this comment multiple times from multiple sources, but this is not correct. The correct thing is, um, when you go to the center, or maybe you do that at home. In case of PfMP, that is not a luxury, you have to go to the center. So the exam is downloaded by the center personnel, and that exam is downloaded for you. So the difficulty level is not going to vary, no matter how well you are doing or no matter how bad you are doing in the initial few minutes. So that is already downloaded. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen within those 170 questions which are already downloaded. So that is the first thing. It's not AI based, no, not at all. And the second thing is that there's no fixed numbers to the correct answer to pass that test. Actually, that is also not correct. The right statement is that the percentage or the passing score is confined to PMI. They have not shared that. They have not disclosed that. But there is a formula. So at times I've seen some students who have got two below target, two above target, and one target, and they have passed the exam. And at times I have seen some students who have got three above target and one below target and one needs improvement, and they have failed the test. So whatever is the combination, that is not known to anyone. But behind the picture, there is some logic applied, and based on that logic, and of course they give some weightage to every task in the ECO curriculum, and they give you that a breakdown as well after the exam is done, that how well you performed in certain tasks. But they are not going to give any justification of why did you like get target of above target in any of the domain, but they are going to give you first of all the levels per domain, the the score that you have got in certain tasks. By score, I don't mean the percentage score. By score, I mean those 4 levels, because that is the only thing that we know. The 4 levels: needs improvement, below target, target, and above target. And PMI is not going to answer you anything about that. They, whatever score they have given to you in the form of those 4 levels, that is the only thing that you know and that I know as well. But there is definitely a formula at the back end that is going to apply. And at times people challenge PMI as well about their score, that no, we should not be getting target in this, we should be getting above target or so. But PMI is not going to answerable to you on this. They have already given you the score, and this is going to stay the same no matter whatever you are going to say, because you have agreed to that when you signed up with them. So how many of out of 170 should be correct to pass the exam? Nobody can tell you about this. For any exam, it's not only about PfMP. This is the PMI way. You should be aiming for the above target. And if you are getting somewhere to target, like to any, so actually a level is starting from one area to ending to certain, like it's a scale actually. So if you are standing on the target or on the above target, overall you are safe. And in some cases the below target also are passed for the overall score. But if you are overall needs improvement, then you are definitely failed. This everyone knows, that if on the overall scale you are needs improvement, then you are definitely failed, right? So this everyone knows. So you should not be you should be trying not to go to the needs improvement level, at least when you are doing the exam. And how not to go there, nobody knows this, right? So Kagiso is asking, how about these coupons and for how long is this Udemy coupon? The Udemy coupon is open for like 1 to 2 days only, and the Udemy course is with you for the lifetime. Kage, so you are already our student, so you will be getting this free of course. Do not need to be signing up for this. And do we have any other question? So bird of a feather flock together. My opinion regarding doing certification, I agree. So Mohammad Ali is congratulating you and myself. And yes, there's one more question from Gulzar. He is asking that 80%, so Saqib has mentioned that 80% of the exam around comprises of ITTOs. So would learning them by heart or memorization is going to solve, is going to make the questions easy? I can answer this question. There is no memorization required anywhere in the preparation. You are not supposed to be memorizing anything. You are supposed to be applying that, maybe in your mind, or you are supposed to be learning that in the right way. Memorization is never going to solve anything. So, Saqib, what do you have to say in this regard?
Yeah, I would say that PFMP is all about the, you can say, the right application of the tools and techniques. So you should be very much familiar with the right tool for the right domain and for the right knowledge area. So this is the most important thing in the whole standard, the tools and techniques. So you should be very much familiar. And one tool is being used in the multiple, you can say, processes. So you should be familiar that what is the meaning of this tool in this specific process, what is the meaning of this tool in the other specific. So I think you should be very much familiar about the all tools and techniques. So sometimes you are really thinking that inputs and outputs are okay, they are also important, but you can say the major you can say major area of your exam is revolving around your tools and techniques.
I
You
agree.
should know the right application. You should
Yes.
have a right concept about the tools and techniques.
Yes, and one thing that I would like to add in this is, the level at which people go for PFMP like certifications. At that level, you are not very much up for any memorization or something. You are very, very practical by that time and very professional. And you, most of the time, you have spent more than 10 or 15 years in the industry already. So you are already thinking in a very professional mode. So memorization is not going to help in any standardization. This is for sure. The right concept, the right connectivity, the right way of implementing things is something that is going to help you. And the scenarios are also not going to be asked in a manner that they are going to like straight away ask that in this process, what is going to be the input, what is going to be the tool and technique. No, they are going to ask you in a very, very practical and professional way. And that you can only answer when you are able to put yourself in certain situations. Only that is going to make that happen. The memorization is never going to pass you through the exam, that I can guarantee. This is not about memorization at all. And one more thing that he is asking is the relevancy of the mocks that I have provided to you, especially my mocks, the on-time training and consultancy mocks. So what was the relevancy that you have found in the exam? And you did quite a number of mocks. So which mocks were most relevant, and what was the quality of my developed mocks? Because that is something people always want to know.
Yeah, I will say if you have gone through the standard and you have provided materials and all other things, it is about the 60% of your preparation, because you are unable to integrate the three things. So when you are going to attempt the question in the mocks, then you are in a real exam scenario. So I would say the 40% of preparation is based on your mock test. So one should really attempt the mock test, and about I think for my case, I attempted 1,000 to 1,200 questions, and you can say it is about the 40% of your preparation. And if you are able to clear that mocks, and you are successfully completed that mocks, and you have got about 70 to 80%, then it would be good enough to pass the exam. For the relevancy, I would say in the provided mock tests, some questions were very near to the mock test. So I was thinking that there are some, you can say, the change of values and some change of word, but the otherwise the question is same. So it is, I think, very good thing if you are going to attempt the mock. That will really help you out in the real exams. And the quality of the Udemy and the Ms. Tooba provided mock test is really very good. And I would say the PGM30 and the Green Book, they are very good mock tests.
So which set of mock did you find most relevant in the exam, like most relevant?
The Green Book test.
The Green Book test. Okay. So those who are actively preparing, you must be keeping that in mind, that Green Book. And I myself tell you always that Green Book, PGM30. So there's a way we should be doing mocks, and that way is quoted in the step-by-step study plan that I have provided to you. So I definitely agree with this.
One thing I just want to add, I want to add that not only try to attempt the mock test, but after attempting the mock test, try to find your gap areas. So the real thing is that if you have attempted the question in a wrong way, then what is the gap? You should also highlight the gap area, and you should fill that gap. So this is very important.
Yes, the reason why you got a question wrong and the right description to that with respect to the ECO and the standard is very important. And this is something we highly focus on in our mocks, like in the mocks that I have developed, because I recommend many other providers mock, but there are 200 to 210 questions that I provide myself. And in my provided questions, I keep a high focus on the very descriptive explanation of why some answer is wrong and why some answer is
this is very important.
Yeah, it's correct. This is very, very important. Not only knowing why some answer is wrong, but like why some option is correct, but also why some option is incorrect is very, very important when you are doing the mocks. Thank you very much, Saqib. We are actually 15 minutes over time, but this is a very, very good conversation. I hope the participants have enjoyed that, and I am very grateful to you that you have joined us and you have taken out time to share your journey and your insights in that regard. So if anyone is interested in joining our PfMP program, the next PfMP group training program is starting from the 25th of February. You can contact me directly. I have shared the communication channels in the chat box as well. And if you want, you can connect with me over LinkedIn, and you can have a conversation with me over there as well. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining and for staying with us and for providing useful comments and questions. This is definitely helpful for the others. I am going to sign off for today, and I will come back soon with a new webinar or with a new discussion with another PfMP or PMP or pgmp student. Till then, take care and goodbye. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Thank you.
Thank you.